Welcome back to another episode of the Knives Monroe Daily Show. This is episode 2. Even though I recorded over 150 episodes of my podcast, not to mention the hundreds that I've produced for other people, I feel like I've recorded 1,000 episodes. At the very least, 300. At the very least. But it's probably closer to 500. So it feels like I've done this many times, and I've been a co-host on different podcasts. It feels like I've done this many times. But the subject that is under discussion in this episode is the all or nothing mindset that's holding you back. I just want to say that if I look a little weird, I pulled my back a couple days ago. Something's got to change. I have done this once every 3 to 4 months. I pull my back, something happens. I'm sure it's a weight thing. I'm sure it's a not stretching thing. I'm sure it's a lifting with your back instead of your legs thing. And so if I look contorted, that's why. No one probably noticed until right now, but I'm just putting it out there. And so I also want to say that it is Thursday, May 30th, and it is 5:16 in the morning. I have a full-time job, and this is quite literally the only time I can record and do this. And I'm getting it done. Now there's a hypocrisy here, because in order for me to kind of talk about this subject, the all or nothing mindset is what's holding you back, I kind of have to define it. But I'm sort of exemplifying it if you think about it. This is going to be difficult to do with like sharp radiating pain down my sciatic nerve, but we're going to get it done. So forgive me if I wince here and there. Doing a daily podcast and committing to a behemoth that gargantuan in size is a bit all or nothing. But the pursuit in that endeavor is what's inspiring me, is what keeps me going. Yes, there's an all or nothing aspect to it. What if I stop? What if I fail? There's so many what ifs. I heard this from when Casey was doing his vlog, and supposedly he did it for 600 to 800 days. You know what happens if you stop, but you don't know what happens if you keep going. That titillates me, that electrifies me, that lights me up and excites me in a way that a creative endeavor has not in a long time. So it's a bit all or nothing, which is a very Knives Monroe philosophy. So I feel a bit of an expert on this subject. So I want to explain how it manifests in your work life, your health, your professional life, your personal life, your relationships. I'm a bit of an all or nothing person. I'm a bit of an extremist, and I can't help it. The origins of it probably come from the extremities of my childhood growing up. It was very binary. It was very, you couldn't afford that or you had an abundance. It was feast or famine. It was, nothing to eat or a box of pizza to eat. And then I grew up into my adolescence, and it was like your girlfriend either dumped you or showered you with gifts, oftentimes again and again and again. And so there was just like this extremity that formed, all or nothing, black and white, hot and cold, on or off. And before I knew it, I started projecting that and participating in life that way too. I started that became my habit. That became my pattern because it was all I knew. I think there's a cultural and societal influence when it comes to this. I think we live in a I want it now or I don't want it at all. I want everything or I want nothing. I think we live in that push pull as a country. Everything's great or everything's dog shit. Everything's the best thing ever or it's ass. It's hyperbolic. It's extreme. But there's so many nuances in the middle. This does not have a positive impact on my self-esteem. It never has. It's never had a positive impact on my lifestyle. Now, don't get me wrong. I have benefited from this sort of sprint stop sort of approach to my ambitions. I have benefited from it, you know. But there's just not like a net positive. So I want to explain how this mindset has increased stress and anxiety and sort of, you know, just this role that perfection has with this mindset and this fear of failure. Dude, you're gonna fail. You're going to fuck up. You're going to stumble. You're going to fall off the path. Your body will tell you if you need a day off. This all or nothing mindset of abundance or scarcity is just that. It is scarcity. It's the very framework that's holding you back. You know, it's held back my personal growth because, you know, say when it comes to diets, I'm like, no sugar, absolutely zero sugar. I can't even have bread or pasta because that turns into sugar. That's just so extreme. And then it's somebody's birthday, and then I'm the asshole that's not participating and not eating any cake or whatever. It's just so extreme. And then you have one donut, and then you throw your whole year away if you're me. And just saying this out loud it's just so ludicrous, man. So it's held back my personal growth and it's held back my creativity, man. All or nothing. Like, I'm gonna write a book in a year. I'm gonna write a whole book. And if I don't write 1,000 pages that day, I kind of just like throw my hands up and say, that's it. I gave it the old college try and it didn't work out. All or nothing. Like, it's just, it's the framework that is fucking you over if you're anything like me. So when you see things through this framework, it limits opportunities for learning and improvement. It discourages you for trying new things. And life is about trying many different things and discovering new opportunities and how this has an impact in your relationship. You're either my best friend or you're not my friend. Fuck you. There's a gray. There's a gray. There's a spectrum in effort. There's an effort scale. It's not max out your reps every fucking time or don't go to the gym. Like, there's a middle ground here. And I think it's important to be flexible and to compromise with yourself and to set achievable goals. We don't talk about that enough. We always talk about dream big. Your goals should be so big they scare you. You hear these platitudes. And they should be, absolutely. But it should also be bite-sized and achievable enough where you can check things off the list. Now, the daily podcast, for an example, is very extreme. It's very binary. But the difference between me and Casey Neistat is that guy could not make up a day in advance. I can record 8 episodes in advance and then take a week off and rest. Because rest is crucial, and I've learned this with my age. rest is crucial when it comes to creativity, when it comes to outputs. You have to rest. So there needs to be a compromise there. There needs to be a balance. So I found that all or nothing mindset as well has led to procrastination. I'll get to it when I lose 70 pounds. That's when I'll start running and start training for a marathon, is what I've told myself. When I lose 70 pounds, when I buy that new camera, that's when I'll start making that movie or what have you. When I make $5,000, that's when I'll invest in stocks and I'll have a surplus of money. It's just another procrastination technique if you really think about it. And I have had dozens, if not hundreds, of goals that I've never achieved because of this all or nothing thinking. But I was never taught that there was a power in incremental process, an incremental progress. So I want to introduce the concept of incremental progress and its benefits. I want to discuss how small, consistent efforts can lead to significant results over time. And maybe we can come up with strategies together to overcome this all or nothing mindset. I think we've established that it holds us back. And there's not really any nobility in the idea of all or nothing, buffet or starvation. I just keep going back to these extremes. Like there's a power in incremental progress. Instead of I'm going to lose 100 pounds in 90 days, let's commit to losing 1 pound a week. And what does that look like in a year? And can you keep that weight off? And can you maintain that lifestyle a year from now? And keep, is that incremental progress more beneficial for your lifestyle? Yes, of course it is. That's a better strategy. I have rules for this daily pod. Some of these are going to be interviews. Some of these I can see me recording on my phone. Some of these are going to be high production like this. They can't all be. I know that. But I need to upload every day. That's the incremental progress. If Seth Godin can write a blog for 10,000 days, if Casey Neistat can create a movie every day for 800 days, I can sit down and do a talking head video once a day. I know I can. I've audited the past 5 years of my life, and I've seen the fat and the days, and I know that I can get that done. And this is a priority to me. This all or nothing philosophy, that's incremental progress versus this all or nothing mindset, which is I'm going to make a viral video or I'm going to make a movie, a feature film, and that's going to be the thing that puts me on the map. I put so much effort in that Evanescence video, which has 600, 500 views, something like that. I thought that was going to get me 100,000 views. I really did. But if I show up every single day, I got to record again. I forgot that this one has a record limit over here. If I show up every single day and just upload and just tap the button every single day, I think I can get that million views over time on a long enough time horizon. So I think it's important to set realistic goals and celebrate small wins. I think it's important to restructure your brain. I mean, for me, that's what I have to do. I have to restructure my brain, man. I got to recalibrate and reform these neurons that are addicted to all or nothing. This is going to be very personal. So if you're close to me and this is TMI, stop listening now. But I'm going to share something here. I discovered masturbation at a very young age. And with that came a lot of guilt for some reason. I was so guilty every time I soothed myself. And I developed this all or nothing sort of psychology of like, I'll never do that again. I'll never do that again. And then, a week will go by and then it'll come up and I'll do it again. And then I feel guilty. Oh, I'll never do that again. All or nothing. Instead of like having a healthy sexual relationship with myself, it's life, it's nature, it's what it is. There's no shame in it. Instead of developing that and learning that and restructuring my brain around that, instead I was stuck in this shame cycle. All or nothing gives you a reason. Here it is. The all or nothing mindset gives you a reason to stay addicted to losing. And how the fuck is that good for you? So there are tons of positive outcomes that I've also experienced from making it easy and letting it be easy and committing to baby steps, as Gabriella Rosie would say. And that's the solutions that I want to offer you. You're listening to this, you're like, dude, I'm all or nothing. I don't know how not to be. First of all, why does it have to be so difficult? Even a crazy goal like running a marathon or finishing an Ironman, that's just made of incremental goals. You don't run the Ironman or perform the Ironman overnight. That's all or nothing. That's a recipe for disaster. That's a guaranteed recipe for failure. Instead, there's a training process where you hit certain milestones daily, weekly, monthly, leading up in preparation to a physical endeavor like that. It's the same thing with making a movie. You don't make a movie overnight. You don't do a huge creative endeavor overnight. Let this be easy and commit to baby steps. And that should be a part of your flow, baby. That should be a part of the process. Make that a part of the process. I have personally achieved positive results from falling in love with the process. Whether if that's morning pages writing every day, walking every day, showing up and doing this daily pod every single day. Micro things. Let it be easy. Josh Terry told me once, and now this guy has over 1 million followers on TikTok, do it like the most pathetic, lazy way. And then after months, that evolves into something that I would call cinematic. And he's right. And look at what he's done. He's crushed it. He's committed to daily progress versus trying to eat the elephant overnight. You can only eat the elephant one bite at a time. So I want to encourage you guys to reflect on your own mindset and contemplate making gradual changes. And just know that this all or nothing mindset is what's keeping you back from achieving your goals. It is what's keeping you back. And it's like you're addicted to losing, pal. It's like you're addicted to fucking up and failing and saying, I couldn't do it, so I'm not even gonna try. It is a procrastination jujitsu that bends you like a pretzel, and you don't even know that you're in this submission, and it's just a pressure cooker that's not sustainable. Oh my God, we did it! It's 5:34 a.m. I filmed this on 2 cameras. We're recording. I don't know how I'm gonna edit this. I got work in a couple hours. I don't know how we're going to do this, but I'm committed to it. And if I miss a day, I'm just going to start over again. It's not a big deal. We're going to commit to daily, weekly, monthly streaks. And if I go 130 days and then we fuck up, it's fine. It's not the end of the world. We're going to get back on the horse and keep going. We're going to keep going. I think the idea is just to build this muscle and see where it takes us. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already to stay up to date with everything in this podcast. We are a creativity podcast. We are dedicated to telling that story of artists who are chasing their pipe dreams. I'm still here. I'm still doing this after 20 years. 2024 marks 20 years for me, and I'm still showing up for my dreams. Show up for yours. Keep a force field around your heart, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace.